So you're implying that somebody who's full preterist mainly is universalist mindset because they think, for example, oh, well, sin's already been defeated. So what's the point of preaching the gospel? And now I know why Marco and Moses, they mainly focus only on full preterism and not preaching the gospel, not actually preaching salvation.
Yeah, because every single gospel ends like Mark 16:15, preach the gospel to every living creature. They're not doing that with preterism. Matthew 28 says, go out there and baptize. They're not doing that because sin is done away with, and make disciples of other nations. But they're only doing the latter part, not the part that was required. So it's like you're literally skipping the most important parts, the reason how people get saved. And so if you're not doing that, you're not actually doing anything for the Lord. You're actually teaching something that will cause people, one, to reevaluate their stance against sin. Then they're gonna start doing them because they feel justified, and they're not actually doing sin because nothing's happening to them. Then they have the hopes of going to heaven or hell, and they can be deceived because, let's say, they don't understand belief to the same extent and so simplified, and they never made that choice. Then they learn on preterism, expecting that they'll go to heaven automatically. But wait, hold on a minute. It said that there will be no more evil, not even death, but you can still be deceived. So I don't know how you can reconcile that in your mind, but you can potentially like cause somebody to be like condemned, deceiving that person, and then being deceived on themselves in their retrospect. So it's like it's very difficult to like put them on the same page because you can't.
Is there anywhere in the video where Haruzan pretty much says that the book of, what were you saying, that Matthew 24 or like the book of Matthew is out of order or something like
Yeah,
that?
so it's like you imagine you have like 24 blocks ahead of you, and there's like smaller blocks within those blocks. He's saying it's all like rambled up. It's out of order. Like nothing like is color coordinating, nothing's in order. Like it was pointless going from Matthew 1 all the way to 28 and putting them in order, which is it's a very strong claim, but when I actually look into it, it actually does not match up because the one evidence, and I told him like, because he wasn't prepared, like he he definitely knew I was gonna bring up Matthew 24, and this is a new argument he definitely had to like scratch at the bottom of the barrel because this is a super fringe view. This is not known. He says scholars. I'm like, okay, like scholars don't dictate anything. It's valuable what they say sometimes, but not all the time. Same thing with church letters. Same thing, anything besides like the first primary source within the Bible. And so um, he has to heavily rely on that. And then when he quotes like Matthew 23 and 19, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure it was those two chapters. Uh, Jesus makes the same mention of Psalms 118 or 80 something. I know there was an 8 around there. He just mentions it twice, but the context within them, it's completely different. So it's not referring to the same thing. So I'm gonna completely disregard it and negate it because like it doesn't, on the surface level, it seems like ridiculous. Just looking at past beneath the surface, it doesn't stand up to it doesn't have any weight. I don't know how to say it any other palatable way.
Well said.
Oh,
So
and
why do we still care? Like, how many people are really free? You say like, oh, people are like catching on to it, but like, how
no,
big of a
so
movie you think this is?
So my concern is the reason why I reach out to Isaac because obviously I'm not here to like demean him, but it's like what Noah said was true. So despite him like leaking something, even though
Mm.
you said not to share it, it's too late now. But now we know what to do next time. However, it's like the more you hang out with these people, it won't be surprised that you'll start slowly take their
Hmm.
position or morph into them. Like if I hanged around with 9 gangbangers,
I think you're breaking up some.
oh okay, let me know if I'm good. I good? Yo yo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me
Say
know.
again.
Yeah, I'll
Test
give you an
test.
example. If I hanged around with 9 gangbangers, I wouldn't be surprised if I become the 10th. So if you start hanging out
Hmm.
with like 7 preterists and that's all they think
Mm.
about the moment they wake up and the moment they go to sleep, are you gonna be surprised that you're gonna be the 8th preterist? I would say so. No.
So
Yeah, I want to say something to Isaac very quickly. Isaac, remember when you were invited or Curious George, Joshua, Joy Boy. He invited me and you and PB to a group chat and to talk about your views, and stuff like that, and to confront me and stuff like that. He basically let PB know about this, and that's how PB knew about it and let others know. So that's kind of why it went out here, and it's really important that we do know this, because this is really bad. I don't know.
So the thing with, I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, if you, how do I explain this? If you surround yourself with these people, you're gonna become like them.
Yep.
So I know I don't mean to change the subject, but when I was in high school, I try to stick around with the popular people. I try to stick around with like the quote unquote cool kid because he was always getting girls. And so I thought to myself in senior year, okay, it's time for me to step up and surround myself with them. And so maybe it was just something I couldn't control, but whenever I started to surround myself around the quote unquote cool kids or whatever, or like the kids that got girls. And then I ended up getting one for like a week. And then she ended up breaking up with me in like a week, but she still hung around the other dude. Um, but then again, I did have some mental issues. So my point is maybe it's because the those people that I surrounded myself with didn't actually look out for me. Um, but I'm not sure if I believe in the whole like, oh, if you surround yourself with XYZ, you're gonna become like them, if that makes sense. Maybe the people in high school didn't have my back when I thought they did. Maybe that's
I think
why.
children are what's the word? Impressionable, but if you're an adult and you're mature, you can discern. I mean, I think we should be friends with people that aren't believers, so we need to witness to them, be a light to their life.
Yeah, I'm not saying like you should come
And
from
we also
like
need the healthy, strong community too.
yeah, like I'm not saying let me clarify. I'm not saying that you can't have contact with them. What I am saying is if you're going to like have fellowship with them, that's when you should draw the line. Like if I was to work for somebody, he just happens to be a Hindu, it doesn't mean like I can't have job or earn money just because he happens to be Hindu. I'm gonna work with him, but if he asking me to do something where like obviously like your faith comes into play, you're not jeopardizing. So what I'm highlighting here is that if you're gonna interact with them, you can, right? I block Caruso because he keeps harassing me for this. I'm like, all right, if you want it. By the way, he messed up because he said, I'll give you $10 for it. And I'm like, hold on, I'm fixing the audio. I'm reviewing the footage right now. Like, give me some time. Because obviously I didn't tell him I was going to do so. Like, he just asked and he offered money. And I was like, oh, okay, but let me just fix it first. And then he kept hassling for me. So I just told him, all right, I'm going to charge you 50 now because, like, you're desperate. And I'm going to keep doubling. But that's besides the point. I have no issue talking with him, Joshua, or any other people. But if they're going to be like this thing and shove it down my throat, then I'd rather not interact with them because then I'll start. It'll stick
Yeah,
to you.
that's
You
where
will
it's like a
convert
cult,
into
That's
them.
all they
Yeah.
talk about.
What's up?
That's where it's like a cult. That's all they talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So like if you're gonna hang out with these individuals, it's going to stick onto you into some capacity. Sure, you may not turn to them all right, like you're not like a Haruzen clone, that's not what I'm saying. But like there are some things like mannerisms, some ways how to present. Like think about this, right? They had fellowship with you guys and you know them because I came in what like late November of last year. I only interacted until like 2 weeks afterwards. But you can see that they slowly morph into Hiruzen. So it's more probable than most likely not that they will become who they hang around with. Like we're talking about a dude that if I'm well, I don't want to be too revealing, right? He probably does things in behind closed doors that he doesn't consider sin. And the second head honcho is literally like a bisexual that's into twinks. And they're literally teaching little kids. So that's a recipe for disaster. Like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. As soon as you said bisexual, I think I know who you're talking about.
right. And so like how do you
Italy guy.
how do you like make excuses for that? Because that's what you have to do for like if there's nothing wrong there and they're not converting other people to basically be like them. Your only option is like, okay, I'm gonna avoid these people because obviously they're not willing to engage and actually like deal with the text. They're too busy propagating this because it makes them feel good.
So, like, Crab, what you're saying is you could be friends with unbelievers, but just not fellowship with them. So, for example,
Right.
if they say, like, oh, hey, come to mosque with us, or say, come to whatever Hindu BS, then pretty much just say no. Okay, because I mean, I haven't read the full New Testament yet, but from what I've got, whenever Paul said, don't surround yourself with unbelievers, is that I thought he was mentioning just completely avoid unbelievers at all. That's why
No,
I
I
don't
think he
like
means in the
look.
context of the church, right?
Yeah, I think he's talking about
Yeah.
unequally yoked specifically.
Okay. And then, yeah, I mean, I do believe you
We
now
find that
on
passage.
Omni, on the whole. Pretty much you're most of the time you are who you hang around, because I've noticed a couple of people who weren't full preterists, but I kind of get the feeling that they're converting to that now, like Kingzilla, and there's this one dude named Grape Master. He's pretty much like I mentioned earlier, he's one of those dudes that pretty much glazes Hitler. And I know with Grape Master, I believe he was a partial preterist, or no, actually, I forgot, but I think he was either a partial preterist or he was post-trib or whatever, because it said it in his bio, and he came talk to me before. So I think what people are doing is, because it's dang near almost impossible to avoid politics. I think it's mainly just for now, mainly for me, or yeah, I can't really say for anyone else because I'd be hypocritical saying like don't pay attention to politics or don't talk about politics when every time I open up YouTube, there'll be something on there. But I guess just don't click on it because it's most likely one of the things I learned recently is these guys on YouTube that claim to be independent media and trustable, they pretty much have the same outline as mainstream media. They make some outmarks or some statements that will pretty much rage bait you into trusting them 100%, and that's how they get money. Like with Myron Gaines, for example, he says a bit of things that are half truth, like get your credit score up, but then he'll have a completely different political YouTube channel where he'll just throw in half truths or whatnot and then exaggerate. I think that's pretty much the outline for anyone that's trying to run a news company. What I've learned recently with that is it's not out there to tell you the truth. It's out there to just mainly push whatever agenda they want for money. That's mainly why I've just stopped paying attention to politics, because both mainstream media and independent media are pretty much have their own agenda and whatnot.
Yeah, true. And also, this is what is supposed to happen. I guess we'll finish off on this because it seems like you're keeping your distance. As the day gets near, a lot of people are apostatizing to this degree. Like I would like before, if you asked like 1,000 years ago, people are more reluctant. Like he's coming back soon, but not from our perspective, but instead of God's. And so as that time gets near, people are getting more impatient. They're so into themselves that the Bible literally describes them as being narcissists. So they can care less if Jesus is coming back sooner. And so if you have like this huge influx of like, people becoming preterists because they are having this hatred towards Jews, which has been prophesied, by the way, you're literally playing into the hands of the devil because you're not actually reading your Bible consistently to the point like you literally notice the signs that come from God and come from the enemy. But since people obviously like create their own what's it called, echo chambers, they're stuck on that. Like I literally see on my socials like people making fun of of like Jesus saying these things that we're talking about. And it's like, no, it's supposed to be for Bob like 2,000 years from now. It's kind of funny, but that's actually like a byproduct of people taking it less seriously. So, what my question to you is, which side would you rather be on? Actually know when Jesus coming back, or literally hang out with people that don't even expect him to come back at all? Who do you think um is ready to receive Christ to actually come back? And I think the answer is pretty quite cut and dry.